Vicky, and I'm here today to do a bit of a Q&A. I recently celebrated my 6-year Booktube birthday, anniversary, whatever you want to call it. It was on April 11th, and so I thought it would be fun to do a Q&A. I do one about this time every year, and so I posted a post on YouTube and over on Instagram asking for questions, and you guys submitted some, so thank you very much to all of you who have submitted questions. Yeah, let's just dive right into them. So the first question is, what is my favorite horror movies / TV shows? And definitely my favorite horror movie franchise is Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, he is the man. Those movies are ridiculous. They're funny, they're horrific, the special effects are amazing. The first movie is my favorite, but honestly, they're all good in their own way. Freddy Krueger is awesome. As far as TV shows go, horror sort of TV shows, I really love Stranger Things. I mean, that has everything that I want in a story. It has scary stuff, it has a group of kids fighting badness, the 80s nostalgia, the whole thing is just great. I just love Stranger Things. My favorite genre and book of all time. So my favorite genre is horror. There's just something about reading horror books that has just always appealed to me, even since I was a kid. I love how diverse in terms of subgenres that horror has. There's just so many different types of horror books out there that you can read. And I love how the genre will tackle real life issues, things that people do experience or worry about every day or whatever, think about every day, but put it in a horror setting, and it just works. It's just great. I just love it. And as far as a favorite book of all time, you know I can't answer that question. You cannot ask that question. It's too hard to answer. The next question is my favorite vacation destination. And I'm not a very well-traveled girl, I'm gonna be honest. I just haven't traveled a lot in my life. I'm kind of a homebody. But one of my favorite places to visit is my dad's hometown in Michigan. He is from Grand Marais, which is right in the UP, right on Lake Superior. It's this teeny tiny town that I just have always loved. I've gone there since I was a kid, and it's just one of my favorite places to be. It's very nostalgic. I love especially being there with my dad because he is also very nostalgic, and it's just really cool to visit there and just be in this little town. And it just has, for being such a little town, it has a lot to do, and it's great. I love it. It's one of my favorite places in the world. Do I have any hobbies or interests aside from reading books? And yes, I do. I enjoy doing puzzles, which kind of came back during COVID, when we were in lockdown. I kind of started digging puzzles back out again because I hadn't been doing them for years. And then that kind of kick-started that, and so I've been kind of into puzzles. I also am into Legos, building with Legos, which is weird because as a kid, I don't remember really being into Legos. I don't think I had Legos. And it wasn't because my parents didn't buy them for me. I think I just never really wanted them, and now I love building with Legos. So let me show you actually the most recent thing I just built. My father-in-law got me a Lego set for my birthday and I just finished it. Hold on. So this is it. It's a flower, a succulent flower thing entirely made out of Legos. It is so cool. It was so fun to make. Yeah, it's one of I just think it's really fun just following the directions and just putting something together. I love doing it with my kids. Hunter right now is in a huge Lego phase, and so anytime he needs help with a Lego set or anything, I'm right there. I'm yes, let's build some Legos. The next question is, if I could learn any instrument, what would I play? I have always wanted to play guitar. I think guitar is just so cool because I'm a big fan of rock music, and so I love a guitar solo and everything. And I actually tried to learn in high school. I had a friend who played guitar and he tried to teach me, and that coordination, I just don't have it. I don't have it. But I wish I did because it is just such a cool instrument. It's just so so gritty and cool. Yeah, I love guitars. My favorite ice cream flavor. So I'm pretty basic. When you're talking about just a basic flavor, I'm all about vanilla. I know, It's so boring. But I love vanilla because you can jazz it up or change it up however you want. You want to add some chocolate sauce, you want to add some sprinkles, you want to eat it by itself, whatever. Vanilla is great, is a great base. Now if I go to like an ice cream shop where there's different flavors that I can choose from, I usually go for Moose Tracks because it's got all the goodies in it. I love it. The next question is, can we meet? I live near you, so yeah, sure. I will message you. We'll see about possibly doing a meetup. I think that'd be cool. And then the next question is, if I could only read one format for the rest of my life, which would I choose? And this is actually really hard because between like audio, physical, and ebook, I actually utilize all three of those formats every day. Because I do like all my ebook reading I do at night, because then I don't have to worry about turning the lamp out. I can like turn the light out and be in the dark reading from my Kindle until I pass out. That's the great way to end the day. I'm always listening to audiobooks when I'm like doing housework, when I'm driving, anything like that. Like I usually opt for audiobooks over, like right now in my life, over podcasts or music or whatever. And then, but my favorite still, and the one that I use the most, is physical. There's just something about holding a book in your hands, turning those pages, smelling that book, that just cannot be beat. It can't be beat. So I have to say physical all the way. The next question is, what is my favorite place to read? In my house, I like to read right here in my little home library that I have. I also have like my spot on the couch in the living room, my little corner, where I also like to read. But I think in the nicer months, when it gets to be like this time of year and into the summer, I do really like to read outside. There's something about just hearing like birds chirping and like kind of having that breeze and stuff like that, hearing planes go by and stuff like that, that I actually like. I do actually sort of like that background ambience. So when I can, I do like to read outside on my back porch. The next question is, tell me what your dream vacation looks like. My dream vacation is anywhere where I am by a body of water, where I can just sit and read. Or like if I want to go swim, I can swim. If I want to take a walk, I can take a walk. It's very chill. I mean, I don't mind vacations where you go to like a big city like New York or Chicago. Like I've done those vacations where you go and you do the museums and you do the shopping and the restaurants and the hustle bustle of it all. I do like that occasionally, but I think at my core, I am more of like a chill and just relax and kind of like take it as it comes sort of vacation. Just like nothing super planned out. Like you kind of wake up in the day and you're like, what are we doing today? Oh, we're gonna just sit on the beach all day? Cool. Like that's kind of more my vibe. So yeah, anywhere where there's like water and a place where I can sit in the shade and read is good for me. And then my go-to drink of choice. Now if we're talking about like non-alcohol, I really loved, I'm a pretty basic person. I love iced coffee from Bigby. I don't know if Bigby is like a well-known coffee chain, I'm not sure. But they're my favorite coffee chain. And their iced coffee, just basic iced coffee, 2 and 2. That's like my favorite. I will drink those all the time. If you're talking about alcohol, I'm not really much of a liquor girl anymore. As I age, I've discovered that I'm more into wine. Or I do like High Noons or White Claws. That's pretty much it. I don't get too fancy with my drinks these days. Then the next question is a book I would never, ever read, even if it was the last book on earth. And I would have to say one that I just have zero interest in, like absolutely not, is Moby Dick. It's so big, and the synopsis just does nothing for me. About a big whale and a guy going after it or something. I don't even know. Is that what it is? It just doesn't interest me. And it's actually on my 100 Epic Reads poster. And sorry guys, that's one that I'm probably that one's just never gonna get scratched off because I really have no interest in reading that. Has my favorite genre changed since starting Booktube? And I don't think so. I think I've always preferred horror books. But I will say that I think my genres have broadened. I tend to read more these days, like I'm more into like middle grade books, and that might be because I have a middle grade reader now, but back when I started my channel, I didn't read a lot of middle grade. Now I do. Historical fiction is another one that I never really tackled until I started on Booktube. Yeah, so I think my genres have broadened out, but horror is still number one for me. And then the next question, speaking of my 100 Epic Reads poster, somebody asked, like, can you give us an update on your 100 Epic Reads series? And the only thing I can say is that I am currently working on the next book, and it is big. It is probably the biggest book I've ever read in my life, and so I'm taking it easy. I was really hoping to have it done in May, but now I'm thinking it's not going to be till June. Because it's, like I said, it's a long one. It's a long one, but it is going well. It's just taking a lot of time. So you can expect to see that vlog. So the next vlog for 100 Epic Reads will probably be sometime in June. Are there any books that you still think about after reading them years ago? And there are a couple. One that I read probably 2 or 3 years ago now was Boy's Life by Robert McCammon. That book just floored me. I just did not expect to love that book as much as I did, and I still think about certain scenes from that book still stick with me that were just so beautifully written. The magical realism in that book was fantastic. I just loved it. Another one that I think about a lot is Gun Love. Oh my god, the author is it Jennifer Clement? I think that's oh my god, I'm blanking on the author, but I read that book again like a year or two ago, and again it was one that totally took me by surprise. It was a 5-star read I absolutely loved, that I still think about the ending of that book once in a great while. That book, it'll just kind of pop up in my brain and I'm like, wow, gosh, that was just so good. And then another one is, and one that I'm kind of itching to read again, is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I've read that book twice now, I think, and I still think about Charlie. I do. And just that whole vibe, the like 90s, and just being a kid and all of that. Like that book, I love that book. I do. And like I said, I'm kind of itching to read it again. Okay, the next question I kind of answered already is, how has my reading taste changed over the years? And I would say it has broadened more than anything, but ever since I was a kid, reading the spooky stuff has always been my thing, my favorite thing, and that hasn't changed. The next question is, what are some of my favorite places to visit in Michigan? And I will say any place in the UP, in the Upper Peninsula, is fantastic. It is just absolutely beautiful up there. It is, it's hilly, there's lots of trees, there's water. It is, if you want to get in touch with nature, go to the Upper Peninsula. It's beautiful. Other places I really have liked, Saugatuck, which is over on the west side of the state, is a really cool town with like just a cool like areas to like walk around, and like restaurants and shops and stuff. It's got a really cool vibe. We stayed at a really cute B&B there when we went, and it was really cool. And then also Holland, which is also on the west side of Michigan, is also a really great place. They have a cool downtown area. Some amazing beaches on Lake Michigan, so yeah. Do I have any family or friends that are also avid readers, and do they give me grief about my reading hobby? My dad is an avid reader still, and like every time we see each other, we talk about what we're reading currently and stuff like that. We give each other recommendations. Yeah, we talk books all the time, and we've kind of always been that way. We've always bonded over reading, and I have a couple friends that read casually. You know, they'll borrow books from me and I'll borrow books from them. But yeah, I think for the most part, like, nobody gives me a hard time. They know that I'm just a big book nerd, and I'm assuming that that's something they love about me. And then the last question is, what is my all-time favorite movie and movie night snack? Favorite movie, it's like asking me my favorite book. It's so hard because I have so many, and they're all kind of different and all over the place. But one I think I will say that I have watched probably the most, that I can quote and everything, and it's probably in my brain right now because I just watched it like 3 days ago, is The Breakfast Club. there's just something about that movie that I saw it for the first time in 5th grade, so I was, what, 10 or 11 years old, and I just identified so much with those characters, and the dialogue is fantastic. The whole premise of these very different people being put together in a room for the day and having to just kind of like deal with each other and learn about each other. It's just a great story. And it's so, like I said, it kind of was like edgy to me, because if you've ever seen The Breakfast Club, like there's like swearing and stuff, and John Bender's such a rebel. I was like, oh my God, he's my hero. Even though like I was nothing like that. There was just so much about that movie that I just love. And like I said, I've seen it so many times. And I still just to this day just love it. And then if I had to pick a favorite snack, I'm pretty basic. I love me some popcorn. I love, even when I go to the movies, just give me a popcorn with the liquid butter and I'm good to go. All right guys, so those are my questions for my 6th Booktube birthday Q&A. Thank you so much again to those of you that submitted questions. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed my answers. And thank you so much for, you know, being around for the past 6 years and for supporting my channel and just like being my bookish friends, because it's such a joy to just like come here and talk about books with other people that love it. And yeah, it's a great place to be, and I've really enjoyed myself, and I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So thank you again so much for being here and being my friend. And that's it. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.